Stanford alumni. If we were a country, we'd represent the 10th largest economy in the world. Angel investors working in groups, a lot of them had previous startup experience, doing a median of 20 hours of due diligence on each investment. And the multiple for those who were above the median in terms of their due diligence was significantly higher.
The ownership of the company and control go hand in hand. Simple company with common stock outstanding and no other shares of stock, then if you control a majority of common stock, then you essentially control the board, because board is by default elected by the majority of shares. Investors coming in, they would also want to make sure being a minority is protected adequately. So they negotiate certain protections. That would be essentially their control as a stockholder. And that's mostly negative control in the sense that they can't make the company do certain things, but they can block it.
Sort of an interesting early phase, call it the spring of 2020, when all venture capitalists were sort of scratching their head and hemming and hawing about whether they were going to make an investment decision to fund people they'd never met before. And then everybody kind of got over that. And then there was the question of whether you were going to be able to hire people without ever meeting them in person. And people kind of got over that too. And then there was the big question for the venture capitalists, which was, would the limited partners fund a new venture capital fund without meeting the general partners? And they got over that too. All of the efficiencies of Zoom people suddenly capitalized on in the venture business.
Best founders actually dream up a future. They're not just projecting the future from the present, and they literally bend the curve of the present trajectory towards the future they want. And so what I'm investing into is a future I want to see.
NSF has probably one of the broadest scope because it is science in general. And within the NSF, SBIR, STTR, you have several tracks. My company is doing software. We are in the IT track. But there's also robotics, there's biotechs, there's medical material sciences. So the SBIR awards are also being allocated through the different fields. You can also apply to different agencies. I think that's something that you have to strategize. I have certainly seen among my peers, people who now have an SBIR from NSF, but also had one from NIH. That got one from DoD.
If you're going to do financing with a SAFE, is you need to be modeling your next round, right? Because the next round is when that SAFE is actually going to kick in and actually have a bigger effect on how diluted you are. There needs to be a strategy and thought around when would be the next time that we would actually raise. You think about things like burn rate, and again, it's a lot of assumptions and it's very hard to predict accurately, but you do need to have a view, because the next round is actually when the SAFE is going to kick in and really affect what percentage ownership you have. And you don't see it right away when you take that money.
You're sold on the accelerator is going to help you, and you look at the trade-offs and you feel like, yes, at some point this is going to be the right thing for me. As soon as you can get in, you should do it. The further along you get as a company, the less and less sense it makes. Like, you're not going to see a company that's already had a Series C financing go through accelerator. The sooner you can get in, the faster you can move. And that's the name of the game of startups, is growth and moving fast. The sooner you can hit that accelerator to help you speed up even faster, I think, from my perspective, that's when the time is right.